Of a Four Seasons loft. In Austin, I stall, pause. My eyes crawl to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raping the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose.
Yes, we do. We manifest dreams here on Thunder Thursday. We're doing the unpopular hour instead of after the storm. We are going to talk a little bit about the Thunder. And right now, there's not a lot going on. So I think starting next week, we're going to do the unpopular hour just like today, except that we're going to concentrate a little bit less. We're going to just say, okay, this part of the show, or we're going to dedicate a certain portion of the show to the Thunder, but talking about the other stuff that's going on. So that's what we're going to do starting next week. This week, we're just going to do a short show talking a little bit about the NBA and what's going on with the news, and then let's talk about the Thunder. Then after that, tomorrow we'll be back doing our Thunder stuff or doing our regular unpopular hour. But today, the Thunder Thursday, so we're going to talk about the Thunder, but we're going to start off, of course, with the big news today, which is really upsetting. Man, that didn't pop out. I wanted that to pop up. But anyway, that is not what I was going to talk about. Brittany Griner, unfortunately, was sentenced to 9 years, which I think is a bunch of, God, how do I say this? A bunch of BS. I wasn't happy that that happened to her. I think it's I can't really say what I want to call it, but you know what it is. I mean, 9 years. But, the bottom line is this. The reason why Brittany Griner is still in jail is one simple thing. And that is because we haven't given them what they want. Russia wants something that we're not willing to give them. That's what the situation is. I mean, if we were to give them what they wanted, I do believe that Brittany Griner would be free today. But unfortunately for her, the government does not want to give her or give them what they're looking for. And that's what it comes down to. Now let's try this again, see if I can get that fixed. Let's see if that works. Okay, there we go. Brittany Griner, she was sentenced to 9 years in prison today by the Russian government, which is a bunch of crap. But let's face it, she is a central figure in the world, being a basketball player, and now she really is because she's a woman, but she's an American, and she's one of the greatest women's basketball players in the world, and definitely for the United States. So they're just trying to use her as a ploy. And then we also remember we have someone else there that's been there since October, November of 2018. So he's been there 4 years, and she's been locked up less than that. So I'm sure this particular guy's, his parents are, they're like, why are you not talking about my son? Why all of a sudden? Well, it is what it is. If you're not famous, people don't talk about you. I mean, it is what it is in reality in life. I mean, if you are a normal person, you don't get the same rights, you don't get the same benefits as someone who is more famous. It is what it is. It's like, infamous when Jimmy Johnson, one of his guys was asleep in a meeting room. And, Jimmy got rid of him, cut him. And the guy goes, well, Michael Irvin then will fall asleep. He goes, well, you're not Michael Irvin, you're not Emmitt Smith, and you're not Troy Aikman. So, therefore, you cannot fall asleep. They can. And you got cut. So, it's unfortunate, but it is a pecking order in life. And is it fair? Depends on which end you are on. If you're on the end that is working for, then it's more than fair. If you're on the end that is not working for, then no, it's not fair to you. But to me, for most of my life, I've been on the other end, so I don't really necessarily know how great it is, the fact that, you get that benefit, but it is what it is, and it's some of the things that you've worked for all your life, and it's just a perk. Whether it's a good perk or a bad perk, that's yet to be determined for a lot of people, but I can't really speak on bad on it because I took advantage of a lot of things because I was who I was. But in this particular case, we were talking about it today. Gary Vick and I were talking about it that, it's a political football. And, he and I both agree, well, why didn't her agent? I mean, you knew that Russia was going, it was an issue with Ukraine. You knew they were possibly going to invade. She is an American. She's a high-profile athlete. Why would you put your player in that particular situation? Why would you go, hey, let's not do that this year? There's too much turmoil. But then again, if there was a contract, then maybe she could break it, giving them money back or whatever, and just say, hey, my safe and healthy my safety is worth more than the money that you paid me, and give it back to them. So, we don't really know exactly what happened, but my thing is this: I agree with Gary. Is why were you even over there? Why would you go to a country that you know that is about to go to war? They're going to feed you a bunch of crap. You can't believe them, because why would they be honest with you? And now she, unfortunately, is caught in between one simple thing. We're not giving Russia what they want. If we gave Russia what they wanted, we've already tried to give them the arms deal. Clearly that wasn't it. But on the other side of it, like Gary said, you have to go through the trial. You have to have a sentencing before you can actually free them. So all that's been said. She's pled guilty. She's doing all the things she needs to do to be set free. Now it's a matter of the United States giving Russia what they want, and clearly they just don't want to. Whatever it is that they want, we're like saying it's too high of a price to pay for both of these lives. And if that's the case, whoever the Russia wants must be pretty bad if we're not willing to give them up for somebody like Brittany. Now, I've heard several things that I'm not going to mention on why she's not necessarily on the top of the list. Why this particular, I believe he's a Marine that's been over there. Why they aren't at the top of the food chain as far as giving up what they want to get it done. So, but I'm not going to go into that because I think it could have some merit, but I just don't want to go down that road at this particular point. If it continues on, then possibly later. But we shall see. And then, of course, Amon Shumpert facing 2 years in prison for having 6.12 ounces of marijuana on him. Why are you traveling up that much weed? Yes, it's legal in the state of Texas, but you had to travel across state lines, which is federal government, and marijuana is still illegal with the federal government, even though states have done that. You've got to be smarter than that. And the whole thing is that why are you bringing your own weed anyway? There's tons of weed that you can get in Texas, good weed. And so I don't know why these guys put themselves in that situation. It makes no sense. If you're going to carry weed with you, then go ahead and fly private, and then you don't have to put yourself in this situation. But now you're going to face up to 2 years, and then why do you need 6 ounces? Why do you need 6 ounces? But again, once these athletes making not smart decisions, I don't really understand a lot of the decisions that they make. I'm just going, guys, what is wrong with you? That being said, I want to take this opportunity to thank Santa Fe Family Life Center for allowing me to do it today. Normally, I only do it on Mondays, but I'm doing it today because the MAYB Women's Nationals is being part of one of the sites. Will be here tomorrow. So I was in the process of getting everything set up as far as getting things cleaned and ready to go by the time everything starts tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So I wanted to make sure everything was done and make sure it was all set up for that. So I'm trying to make sure that was done, and so it's just easier for me to go ahead and do it this way and get set up so that I could come here. So, but anyway, Santa Fe Family Life Center. Love this place. Very fortunate that I have the opportunity to be here. And but anyway, you can see right on here on the things that are available through Santa Fe Family Life Center. Let me see. But the things they're offering, and of course, our new thing is coming up pretty soon, so I'm excited about that. Let me see. And then, of course, our new league is coming up. Sorry, guys, I'm sending Drew this link. I thought we were going to have Tommy Tubbs on today, but you're going to have Tommy Tubbs on, but we're going to try to get him on next week. We're going to try to expand a little bit more. But anyway, the Fall Ball League begins September 9th. The deadline is September 2nd. Boys and girls, 8-game season, which roughly runs around 10 weeks, 9 to 10 weeks. For that, games Friday nights, 6:30 to 8:30, and then, of course, Saturdays from 9 to 4. So that's when it is. You can contact Gary. There's his phone number, or you can contact Santa Fe Family Life Center at 840-1817. We still have memberships available for $34.99. And, of course, you can go to the website at www.sflc. And then on top of that, the beautiful thing is the JFK Awards are coming up really soon, September 20th, which will be here quickly. It will be here very quickly. So that is a fun event. And like you said, if you have not been to the Omni, it is a great place. I love that place. I've yet to go to Bob's. Randy, right now we're talking about how great Bob's is. And, I believe Randy, because he's like me, he knows what a good steak is. And he's been, like myself, all over the country to eat at different steak restaurants. So anyway, excited about that. Love Bob's. It's one of my favorite places in Dallas. Been there many times for my birthday. So it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to do that. Then, of course, you can see all this year's 2022 honorees right there on the screen. Man, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? But anyway, I want to thank those guys. I appreciate that because I wasn't really supposed to be here today. I was planning on being at Ned's. I was supposed to be at Ned's yesterday, but got caught up in some stuff so that I could not be on the air. And I was not able to be there because yesterday we were going to do Ned's because what our plan is to rotate between Ned's and Rococo's every other Wednesday. Then Thursdays are open for us to go to different locations. I've got a couple friends' businesses that we want to go. Of course, we want to go out to YNB, and of course, YNB is one of our sponsors, family owned and operated since 1912. The bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. If you want to pre-qualify for loans, they are the spot for that. But anyway, we want to thank them for all the things that they do for us, allowing us to go out and do remote locations at Black, minority, and women-owned businesses in the city. So we want to thank them for their sponsorship. So Thursdays I'm trying to leave Thursdays open to where we go to different businesses like a Y&B, or we go over to my boy Phil Good's office to do something in his insurance office, or we go to Mark Pimbleton or something like that. So I've got a bunch of friends that have insurance agencies as well as different businesses that we can go and hang out at and go do stuff at. So that's kind of what we're going to try to leave Thursdays open for us just to kind of go to different locations. And, of course, Fridays we are at Cutting Up, where I go to get my hair cut. It's got an Amber Alert. My phone is going off. And I hate those things. I hate Amber Alerts because it's like somebody has done something that they shouldn't do with their kids, and it's just these people, I don't understand how you can do that. I mean, leave your dang. Why do you? I mean, I don't really understand how people do that. I really don't. I mean, how do you take your kid from your spouse? I mean, You can have all the disagreements you want. Being a basketball coach, I've seen a lot of how spouses don't get along, and to me, it's about the kids, not whether y'all like each other or not. It really is. If the kid wants to go see his dad or kid wants to go see his mom, whoever has custody, it is what it is. But you have to protect your child. I get that, and especially if it's in a bad situation. So that's kind of a tough deal. So anyway, that being said, let's get on to the Thunder. The Thunder news, of course, Muscala signs a $2.6 million contract, and also the Thunder Blue to stay in Paycom. I don't know if you've gone to watch any Blue games, but it's a lot of the Thunder players or future Thunder players who get to step up when there's an injury. And so the Blue, it's important that you do have a G League team that you can go watch, and we do have that, and they will be staying in Paycom, which is a huge thing. I think for these guys, one, and for the Thunder, one, it helps them be able to play and get used to the sightlines when they're playing. That really, really, truly matters, is understanding what my sight lines are. So, and what sight lines are is when you're playing, you have a vision of what the goal is, where they're set up, what is behind the backboard. You know, how does it set up? What does it look like if I shoot from the wing? What does it look like if I shoot from the corner? What does it look like if I shoot from the top of the key? So it gives you a good sight lines as far as where you need to shoot the basketball, and that's going to help them when they do get called up. You know, like a Lindy Waters or a Poku, whomever it is, when they get called up, it allows them to be familiar with the sight lines of how the gym is set up and what it looks like when they shoot the ball. Because if you're a shooter, especially, it's always nice for you to be able to have a certain way for you to look at the basketball and a certain way for you to look at things. And that it really, really, truly matters. And, you know, because there's like some gyms that I'd go play at. I just hated the gym. I mean, I hated playing in OU. I hated the way that gym looked. I hated Kansas State. I loved KU. I hated Nebraska. Loved Colorado. You know, so there's certain places that I really, really enjoyed. I love the drum playing in Texas. I love Freedom Hall in Louisville. So there's certain places that I played at that I really loved, that I really just liked. I mean, when I looked, I just liked the way that it looked. Gallagher Iba especially if you're a shooter. Every shooter loved Gallagher Iba because the rims looked so much big because of the sight lines. And speaking of shooting, Mike Muscala would have really, really loved shooting Gallagher Iba because it's just right there, and it's just, I mean, the goals, like I said, they look extra big simply because of the way that they set the facility up in the first place. Mr. Iba had it set up along with Mr. Gallagher. So, but anyway, it's just beautiful the way that it is set up, and I like the sight lines. And so anyway, I'm excited that we did sign Muscala, you know, as far as our center, because we really, really needed a center that could shoot the ball. And this is what we're looking at. And when you look at Muscala, and you can see that his old contract was here on the left-hand side and what we were paying him, okay? And you can see that we did pick up the $2.6 million, and that's what he is paying. That's what he is paying. But when you look at this team, you got Shea, you have Trey, you have Josh, you have Jalen, and you have Aaron Wiggins, which I thought is really interesting that they put Jalen in front of Aaron. I don't know if I would do that. But once again, I have to give my kudos to Sam Presti, that kid, JW, Jalen Williams, JW. Man, what a pickup. I did not see that kid coming. Fantastic summer league. Enjoyed watching him play and was really, 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 really excited about that pickup. Then, of course, you got Lou Dort and Kendrick Williams. Well, that's 7 right there. Then you know that Chet's going to play. That's 8. Then you got Muscala, who Drew and I were arguing about how well he shot the basketball, and he was shooting 43%, which is a fantastic shooting percentage, but he's wide open and he's a shooter. So I think that he would be good, but I do like Jalen Williams, Will, because of the simple fact that he's just a much more stronger rebounder. And I think Chet and Muscala, both at center as far as rebounding, really kills us. And you guys remember, we were, 28th in the league last year in rebounding. So we have got to improve on that. That is just not good enough, and it's just not something that we as a team can really deal with. I mean, you cannot be that far down on the list and expect to be able to play. It just doesn't It just doesn't work out that way. We were 28th in defensive rebounding last year. 28th. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. You got to improve in that. And I think Jalen Williams will help that. I don't know Muscala. Clearly, that's for offense. Chet, I just don't see him. I think he'll get pushed around. So, but anyway, those first two up front, Shea, Trey. You got Josh, J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins. That's 5. Lou Dort, Kendrick Williams. That's 7. Chet, Muscala. That's 9. And then Jeremiah Robinson Earl. So when I look at that group, I'm going, okay, that's 10. So what about Baisley? What about Poku? What about Jay Will? What about Dang? And especially Dang. We gave up so much for him. I'm like, to move up to get him, I was expecting him to do what Jalen Williams did from Santa Clara. That's what I expected of Dane because of the simple fact that we gave up so much. But the jury is still out on him. I don't really know what to expect because I haven't seen enough. And if you guys have heard me before on After the Storm, I've talked about that. I don't know if the kid can play or not. I haven't seen him enough. Because to me in the summer league, I would rather us have those other guys play so we can see what we got. But I understand what Sam wanted to do. He wanted Josh and Trey and Wiggins and Robinson Earl to play with Chet so they could get used to it and build some sort of chemistry and camaraderie for the season. So clearly that's what that he was doing. But like I said, I wish that I could have seen more of Dane to see what he could do. But Jalen Williams took full advantage of his opportunity. So we shall see exactly how it works out this coming fall. It's starting in October. And so next week, like I said, we'll be devoting 10 or 15 minutes to that and how everything works out as far as that's concerned. So that's going to be exciting. I am pumped up, like I said, to watch the Thunder. I want to see what they really I want to see what the Thunder are really going to bring this year. I really do. I want to see because, like I said, we were over and under with 17. I said we'd win 27. We ended up with 24. And like I said, had we played everybody that I thought we would play, that we'd have won at least 27, if not 30-something games. So this year our over and under is 25.5. And I do believe the Thunder will win around between 32 to 35 games. And my high, if we play really, really, really well, I think we can win 40 games. Everybody thinks I'm high and that I'm on drugs or something because I said that. But I do truly believe that the Thunder can win 40 games on the high side, playing really well if Chet lives up to the expectations that everybody's put on him. I realistically think 32 to 35 games is what I truly believe that the Thunder will win 10 games above what everybody thought. Just like last year, 17, I said 27. So that's kind of what my guesstimation is on it, what the Thunder will and will not do. So we shall see. But I want to take this opportunity to thank my sponsors. Collaborative Logic, if you have any IT solutions, any needs as far as your computers and things like that, those are the people that you want to go see. Also, my guys at SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning needs, those are the peeps that you got to talk to. And then, of course, my dude, Jose Fierro for Oak Grove Trucking in his dump truck. And then, of course, Greg and Max Nafee at Nafco. We appreciate everything that those guys have done for us and are doing for us. And then also, if you want to watch any of the former shows, you can go to www.mcsportsnetwork.com. That's www.mcsportsnetwork.com. You can go there, you can pull it up, you can look at any of our episodes. And so anyway, we're excited about that, about watching past episodes, especially if you wanted to watch Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. He was on fire again last night. What did he send me? Drew was he went 6-2 yesterday in MLB, so he was on fire. And like I said, we're going to get Drew and get his full numbers, but you can go back and look at any of the former things and see what Drew picked, and that's HuskerDrewPicks.com. If you want to go and you want to look at that, you can get that. In fact, we're going to upgrade our website a little bit so that we can have his stuff on there and have a link to Drew and to what he's doing over there. And then once again, like I said, we want to thank the people that have taken very good care of us, and that's YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. The bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify for any car loans or anything like that. If you want to refinance your house, if you want to looking at buying a new one, or if you're looking at building a new housing addition or whatever, those are the people. Construction loans and things like that. Those are the people that you want to talk to at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com if you want to do that. So anyway, what I want to do is that's all we have for the Thunder today. For Thunder Thursdays, and like I said, in the future, next week, we're still going to do the Unpopular Hour, but we're going to do, after this, we're going to make a segment inside the Unpopular Hour for the Thunder. And today, since it is Thunder Thursday, I wanted to talk primarily about the Thunder, but we're going to go into more detail. Like tomorrow, we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and how the NFL is going to appeal the decision that they had for Deshaun. So we're going to talk about that and how that's worked out for him, and how the ramifications with the Players Association. So we'll talk about all that tomorrow on the Unpopular Hour. But like I said, what we're going to do in the future is we're going to dedicate 15 to 20 minutes or so strictly on Thursdays for Thunder Thursdays for the Thunder, and then the rest of the time we are going to go and we're going to talk about other sports because there's just not a lot of NBA stuff going on. So it's kind of useless for us to really have a whole hour show dedicated strictly to the Thunder when there's really nothing to really discuss and talk about. So we're just going to try to make them Thunder Thursdays a part of the segment, and maybe we might even have a segment that just pops up and says, hey, here's Thunder Thursday. So we're going to figure that out and see how that's going to work. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. Everybody be safe. Try to